Hello, everybody. That is the sound of me crumpling up a straw wrapper. That is the sound of my birthday. Hello, hello. I should probably share this on the Twitter. One sec, folks. One sec. Let me share this. Share that I'm live. I have to share that I'm live. Does that work? Yep, there I am. All right. So how are all you doing on my birthday? Are you doing fantastic? So Javon sent me this month's shirt in record time, and I misplaced it. So I don't have it for the stream, but it looks identical to the one on the website, so I'll be sharing that. Let me drink my frap, my Starbucks frap. I need a pick-me-up. Okay. What's what, yo? Let's maximize this. And let's share this second screen. All right. Number 12. The last month's shirt. There is one more shirt that is coming for people who have got everything. We'll go over that later. We're going to focus on this shirt because this is a cool shirt. This is Isaac in Wonderland. This amazingly psychedelic t-shirt. Went through a few different revisions to get it perfect on the t-shirt. And I think it looks pretty fucking awesome right now. This one was done by Charles, Dalmau. I cannot pronounce that last name, but this is their Twitter handle. They also did art for the old Four Souls. This is a drugs t-shirt, a psychedelic t-shirt, an Alice in Wonderland t-shirt, and the like. And a pink t-shirt that. The second most colorful t-shirt that we've released. Don't worry, the 13th t-shirt's black. I'm telling myself that. So, let's go over the contents, shall we? Well, first off, let's just take a look at the stickers. See these stickers? They're actually pretty big, and there's a lot of them. So it's a multi-sticker sheet. You've got the mushroom. You've got 3 pills and, 3 mushrooms and 3 pills. You can stick them on everything. You've got the print, and you've got 3 pills cards, and then a bonus April Fool's card. Let's go over those cards. We'll save the April Fool's card for last since you probably already read it. Pills. It's a big old pill. So when you put this pill, play this pill, you roll, and on a 5 or a 6, this becomes an item with +1 damage. Gain it. So this has a 1 in 3 chance of becoming a permanent damage up. Isn't that special? Next, pills. We got some more pills. Choose a player at random. I think this is a pheromones pill. The last one was a horse pill. Choose a player at random. That player gives you a non-eternal item they control. Let's hope that person isn't you. Because that could happen. You'd have to give yourself something. Hopefully it's appropriate for the table. But yeah. So you randomly roll a player one of 4, hopefully, and whatever you land on, you spin the bottle, and that person gives you an item that's not an eternal item. And we got pills. This is another one that becomes an item on a 5 or a 6. So when you play it, you roll, and on a 5 or 6, this becomes an item with prevent the first damage you would take each turn, gain it. So that's it's essentially a health up in the abstract. All right, so you got those pills. You got pills. And then finally we have the April Fool's card, which is the Duke of Flies. But really it's the bloat. This is another bloat card. I like this one a lot. I think it's very cute. And I think it should be a real boss in the game. I think there should be a lot of bosses that are just the bloat dressed up like them in their skin. So, it's a bloat. If this would die, if it has fewer than 2 counters on it, instead, put a counter on it. It heals to full, and the active player gains its rewards and then cancel their attack. And then deals 2 damage to a player chosen at random. And it's the bloat. So essentially, it prevents death. Twice. Excuse my drinking of my frappy. So it heals itself twice. You can gain a treasure from doing it, and then it just Russian roulettes the table. So that's pretty cool. I like this card. And those are the cards. They're not the final cards, obviously, because there's a 13th box. And I will say now that there's going to be another stream next week where let me put myself back on here. There is going to be another stream next week where I am going to go through the box of everything. The box of everything. Because we will be allowing you to order everything until the end of March. And then once the end of March happens, no more shirts, no more pre-ordering, no more anything. It's done. The campaign is over. The year is over. The end. The world is over. So, I'll talk more about that on the next stream. But if you are interested in getting the 13th shirt, or you missed out on everything, and you know somebody else who wants all the shirts, we will be shipping out bundle boxes with every single shirt at a discounted price, especially when it comes to shipping. We will be able to do that until the end of March, and then it's over. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting some stuff here. Let's see. Talking points. We're still doing community stuff. So if you've got your box, we've got a bunch of pretty cool. I'm really liking the dioramas that have been submitted. I'm really liking all the weird out of the box ideas artistically that people have been submitting. And we will be DMing or direct messaging you in some way, emailing or otherwise, winners of some cool extras. Somewhat of your choosing. Let's see. Those of you who haven't, you should check your mail when it comes to the all the Four Souls Kickstarter stuff, because a lot of that has been updated and things are slowly coming our way. And once they come our way, we will be shipping them out. I have been working on the bath water. I should bring that into my next stream. I did a video for it on TikTok. I am Edmund McMillan on TikTok. Those of you who don't know, I go live on there semi-often and make a bunch of nonsense videos where I dance. And one of the latest ones, I've been filling out and signing all the rest of the bath water and making sure everything's kosher there. And I showed what the inside of the bath water looks like. So if you're interested, go check that out. I don't know who the winners of this month's unboxing are yet. I have a list and I have to choose them. I'll probably be reaching out today or tomorrow when it comes to that. For those of you unaware, today is my birthday. And for my birthday, Danielle asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I want to work. And that's what I've been doing. I'm working on Mugenics backgrounds. Why is Fraps still running? So I have most of the games in black and white, and I go through and I colorize it like you would a colorized photo. So everything that's submitted to me, illustration, background-wise, and whatever else, is all black and white. And I go through and I paint around things, make things look nice and cool. I can actually I could share this screen over here and show you. Get out of here. Let's see. I'll show you what it looks like without anything. Okay. Share my second screen. So this is what my work looks like. So I go through here and I block out different color areas and then I colorize them. So there's the general color of the reddish brown for the caves. And then I go through and I add the yellowish beige for the ropes, and then the more yellow for the hat. And then I also already added the bones. And then I add some water drips. This is what colorizing everything in Mugenics entails. It's pretty specific. I really want the colors to be very muted, but not invisible. And I'm realizing by a lot of people's comments it's hard to see a lot of the color for most people unless you're more immersed in the game. So I've kind of upped that a bit. So I'm kind of going through recolorizing and doing all that good stuff. This was drawn by Vivian Hamberry. She did a lot of background event art. This is for events in the caves. There are two main background artists. Sony Shock. He does backgrounds for in-game combat and objects and stuff like that. And then Vivian Ham does she does all these events, which are really, really cool. It's been pretty cool to go through and paint this stuff. Where am I? I am here. So, do you guys want to talk about anything specific? You have any questions about anything specific? Last time I went over my update on Mugenics, which I'll do it again. Fuck it. I'll do it again. But if you have any questions about anything that I've already talked about, this is the time to ask, and I'll answer them. And then I'll go over the Mugenics death update. So go ahead. Ask your fucking questions. I don't care. Will there be any cards in the 13th box? Yes, there will be cards in the 13th box. They will be alternate art cards, and they will be drawn by me. You saw me wearing diapers one day. Is it true that I'm... is it true, you baby soy boy? It is true. There is a picture of me in diapers at GDC along with a lot of other developers as well. Anna Anthropy, I think it was actually Daphne, Anna's girlfriend, then girlfriend, was going around GDC and trying to get game developers to put on diapers and take pictures. And we humbled her. Oops. There's something. Oh, G Fuel Brimstone. Can't talk about it yet. I can talk about it. I'll say, be on the lookout for something really fucking cool at the end of the month. G Fuel wise. There's a little teaser video that I retweeted on Twitter. You should check it out. It's pretty cool. And that shaker cup is fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. I'm like, what's the reddest red and the blackest black? Put them together. Put them together. And they did it. It was really good. What's the 10x10 combat area called in Mugenics? I don't think it has a definitive name. I call it, what do I call it? I call it the grid. The combat grid. Combat tile area. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I'm sure that Tyler has a name, and it's probably more of an official name technically. But that's just the combat arena area. I don't know. For the next week's stream, do you mean unboxing, all unboxing of Isaac, or Repentance as well? It's all of the unboxings. I don't think we have all the physical stuff yet in the United States for the Kickstarter. But I'll do that too. Fuck it. I'll do it if you want to be spoiled. Could I show this month's unboxing stickers? I could if I didn't already stick them all over my refrigerator. So, truth be told, the Alice in Wonderland or Isaac in Wonderland box was actually one of the first ones that we did. And it got moved around because we didn't want such a colorful shirt to be right next to another colorful shirt. And then I kept going in on out on like, should we do it gray? Should we do it pink? What originally it was going to be tie-dye, which became an impossibility, sadly. And it kept getting pushed back until the end. And that's why I had the stickers a year ago and I stuck them all over everything already. Bumbo physical release. Bumbo physical release on Switch is 100% happening. I have approved all the box art for it, and it looks really fucking cool. The extras are especially cool. And I don't foresee it coming out until probably Christmas of this year, though. This keeps getting pushed back. It could come out sooner, but I expect it being more of a fall-winter situation. When will there be an update for Isaac's Switch version? Pretty soon. I think within this month there should be an update that has previous item balances, bug fixes, as well as the G Fuel daily run. Where are we? I can't tell you more about the G Fuel Brimstone just yet, but you'll know all about it soon. What are my thoughts on the Sally Face board game? I actually have a test copy that I never actually got into playing. Our board game nights are so... People are really specific on what they want to play. And we're really locked into Wingspan and Clank Legacy. So it's hard to get in there with it. So I have not played the Sally Face board game yet. I don't have much of an opinion on it, but I'm down with whatever Javon is doing, and people seem really excited about it. I didn't actually know anything about Sally Face or even what it was until Javon's like, I'm working on the Sally Face thing, and I was, what the hell is that? But it seems cool. Will there be another Super Meat Boy? There's no doubt in my mind that there will be another Super Meat Boy, but I will not be involved. That's for fucking sure. For those unaware, I left the company 7 years ago, and I'm no longer a part of anything they do or anything Super Meat Boy, and I haven't been since I left. So I wasn't really a part of the final outcome of Super Meat Boy Forever and whatever else they're working on. But no doubt in my mind that there will be another Super Meat Boy something in the future. What's my favorite Starbucks drink? I mean, this is just like, I don't even know what this is. A vanilla Frappuccino. I do it for the caffeine. It's okay, though. All right, scrolling down. Where are we? How long will the Ultimate Edition of Four Souls box be available on Maestro Media's website? I don't know until it's sold out, just like everything else. It's limited quantity. It's not an infinite run, you know. We need to order by the multiple thousand. So whatever we order and prep and have, once it's gone until we print the next edition, which could be in years. Am I truly 6'1"? I am 6'1". I am truly 6'1". You know, look. Well, you can't fucking see, but I'm almost as tall as that sliding glass door. Javon's just fucking giant. Every goddamn person I associate with is over 6'3". It's awful. I used to be like the tallest dude in all my friend groups. But no, I just have to keep associating with giants. Tyler is 6'5". Another close friend of mine, Jackson, is like 6'6". Javon is like almost 6'4", I think. A friend of mine, Bear, is like 6'3.5", 6'4". It's terrible. My nephew is like the only person that's shorter than me. Awful. It's awful to be a tall person and be so short at the same time. Where are we? Vanilla Bean Gang. What's my favorite tarot deck? I have a collection of old decks. It's hard to say. There's this deck, which I love because it was signed by Alejandro Jodorowsky, who created El Topo and The Holy Mountain. I like that one. I think that this is the one that I've used the most. This has the most wear and tear on it. This one. And Danielle got me some obscure ones like this one, Aleister Crowley Thoth tarot card one. I've got a bunch of them up here. I've got weird like gypsy fortune telling cards and witchy stuff. The Isaac ones are good too, but I have a small collection of cool tarot cards. Is that a giant blue baby? That is a giant blue baby. That is a gift from Javon. It is a replica of the regular size blue baby, but made really fucking huge. Not Bear Taffy. I have a friend, his name's Taylor, but he goes by Savage Bear. And he's like 6'4". He's maybe even taller. Those guys are fucking giant. Is there a chance for Mugenics collector's edition or something? I'm sure we'll do physical editions. I'm positive of that. What's the point of tarot cards? They are a type of divination. And for those of you like me who don't believe in the hoodoo, of actual fortune telling. Tarot cards are interesting because when presented with a situation where these cards are giving you kind of abstract ideas, you're forced to put yourself in a situation where you analyze what's going on and what those things could mean in your own life. And in some weird way, they kind of let you think about what's wrong and what you could be doing to overcome that with art. That's why I like them. They're also witchy and weird. And they were a no-no. The Macmillans said that they were evil, so of course I gravitated towards them. What are the current plans for the art book? I'll tell you right now, there's no plans for jack shit until Mugenics is done, and it won't be done until summer of next year. You'll see. You'll see. Have I ever read Jonan Vasquez's comics? I have. I read all the original John the Homicidal Maniac comics. I read some of the Squee comics and the badly drawn comics. Back in the day, I used to make comics, weirdo freak kid comics, indie weird zines. And when I was making them, people were like, "You'd love John the Homicidal Maniac." So I looked it up and I was like, "Oh shit, I do like this." And if this publisher publishes weirdo shit, maybe they'll publish my stuff. They were called Slave Labor Graphics, and they were just over the hill from where I lived. So I contacted them, and they rejected me right off the bat. And it was the most crushing thing in the world. It actually is what loosely inspired me to make video games. So I kind of gave up on physical comics because I thought there was no future in it if this company was rejecting me, because they're the only ones that published anything that was like my stuff. So I was like, okay, fuck that. So I learned how to make websites, started making websites, learned Flash, started to put my comics into Flash with minor interactivity. And then I was interested in the interactivity, and the interactivity became games. And then I slowly started making more and more games as I went. So that's my Jonan Vasquez connection. But him and I talk semi-often. When I have a question about stuff that he would know, I usually will go straight to him and get his honest opinion. And he's a really nice guy. Can I confirm if the older G Fuel cards will be reprinted with the new G Fuel? I can confirm that they won't be. That's for sure. How do I make a website? I don't even know anymore. Let's look at this Mugenics update. Let's go through this update together. It'll be fun. For those of you who have not read this, I'm going to read it. One of the most common questions that we get asked when playtesting Mugenics is, will my cats die permanently? That's a really common thing because there's like this knee-jerk reaction when people realize that they've got this cat family, they've got these kittens, they're breeding these cats, and they need to take them on adventures or they will starve. They need to go in search of food and money. So when they head out on this adventure, the realization of, oh shit, these cats will die permanently, usually like makes people go gasp. I've heard audible gasps from a many when playtesting, because it seems so harsh in a game like this. But that is the point of this game. The point of this game is permanence, legacy, etc., etc. So yes, your cats will die, like everyone you know and will ever meet, and yourself. Your cats will die. This harsh reality may catch you off guard, but death is a very important part of Mugenics. Maybe the most important part. Without that risk, there is no actual reward. But how does death work in Mugenics? Let me show you how. This is April, a fresh young cat ready for adventure. But sadly, April was attacked by a group of kittens in an alley and was downed. So you can see her, boom. When your HP drops to 0, you become downed, which means that you are out of the fight unless something can bring you back. And you suffer some sort of severe injury. Each one is tied to a stat. So this one is disfigured. So that is a face hit. So they get disfigured on their face physically. You can see the change. And then their charisma drops. Their charisma drops by 1 point. So you get slightly gimped as you go. You don't develop as well. And you don't look so good. And there's one for each stat. So there's a part of the body that's visually affected by being downed. And it's semi-random. Some things might only specifically damage certain parts of your body. You may have cats that will only take head trauma. Like there's a fighter passive where every time they're down, they just take brain damage, which can be a good thing in certain builds. So when the cat is down, they fall to the ground, writhing in pain, and are inactive until the match ends or revived. When they're downed, so you can see a fucked up cat right here. This is April. She looks like she's been declawed. She has a broken arm. She has head trauma. And the piece of wood that looks like it's going through her head is actually armor. That's just wooden armor that's on her back. When a cat is down, they have death armor. The number of times the cat's body can take damage until it's destroyed completely. But don't worry, most enemies don't care about down cats. But you still got to make sure your living cats don't accidentally knock into allies or knock their bodies into rivers or cactuses. So you can see here, April has been downed. She's been disfigured. And there's a little skull with a 3 above her, which means that she can be hit 3 times by anything before the body pops. There are ways to modify this. There are certain abilities that allow you to have a lot more death armor, so you don't have to worry so much. But there are also situations where there are enemies that want to eat dead bodies or enemies that are attracted to dead bodies in some way, or just enemies that are really big and they just need to get through to your other cats. So you have to pay attention to where your other cats are and make sure they don't get trampled on by some giant 500-pound bloated corpse. Losing a cat is harsh when adventuring, but we do give you an out. It raises your chance of finding an ally cat in the next event. But after that, it's kind of, you just gotta fucking muscle through. If at any point in your adventure, all your cats become downed, they have failed their mission and are considered lost forever. If you make it through the adventure, any remaining cats return home forever changed by their experience. So if you lose, not only does it mean every one of those cats is gone forever and erased, it also means any armor that they're carrying that you found on the adventure or brought from home is also lost forever. That is a major risk reward aspect of things. There will be ways to go home. There will be waypoints essentially where you can kind of back out of an adventure if you know that it's going wrong. There are also going to be ways for you to mail back home an item or two that you are worried about losing on your adventure. But the stuff that you're able to bring back, the few things that you're able to bring back, will actually stay in your house and you'll have access to equip them to the other cats. So the long play of this game, there's a lot of different long plays when it comes to just doing these runs and coming home, breeding, and putting them back out again. You're going to slowly amass large sets of armor, money and food, etc., etc. You're also going to amass a large number of cats who have finished their adventures. And when cats get back home, they are considered old. And old cats can't go back on adventures. So once you've taken your cat out and leveled it any number of times, if it comes back home and it survives its adventure, it can't go back out again. It will come back and stay as that cat. But the moment it comes home, it basically triggers a hidden timer that is randomized. And that hidden timer will count down the days for that cat's natural death. even at home, your cats aren't safe. Time will eventually creep up on them and they will die of old age. So it's your job to make sure that you take those cats, especially the ones that have leveled up a bunch and are in your settlement. You want to be able to take them and breed them because they're going to have access to stuff that stray cats don't have, like class abilities. Because each time you breed something, the babies innately inherit something from the mother or father. And they always start with what we call a collarless ability, which is kind of like a weaker, more general ability. But if you went through the game and you had a fighter or whatever else, and he came back with a bunch of really cool fighter abilities that you leveled up, there is a chance that the kittens that cat breeds in your house will actually have a fighter ability when they're bred. And what that would allow you to do is allow you to class that cat as something else. So you could have these multi-classed hybrid cats where they have starting abilities of fighters, but actually they're mages or tanks or whatever. So the long play of the game is absolutely insane. And the breeding is kind of the key element to all of this stuff, which I will get into, as well as the physical and mental disorders and parasites and curses that will haunt your family for generations. And that is this. Well, every 2 weeks I do an update, but that's this update, which is, what update is this? How many have I done? 5. This is update 5 of Mugenics. And I will keep doing updates. I'm assuming by the end of this year, we will actually start showing just playthroughs because every time you play is completely different. And once I get the basics going, I think it'll make a lot more sense when I do Let's Plays or Tyler does Let's Plays. So that's my Mugenics update. Let me know if you have any questions about that. I am all about answering them. I want to try to make it as clear as possible without spoiling too much. Is Mugenics being optimized for Steam Deck? If so, does development for the Switch? I'm positive it will run fine on the Steam Deck. And we are trying our best to make it work with controllers so we can put it on console. I don't know which consoles it will actually release on because, like I said, it won't be out until mid next year. And who knows if the Switch will be irrelevant by then. You never know. You never know. Will there be some sort of Hall of Fame where you can put up images of your dead cats? You'll see. I'm not going to spoil anything. Have I considered doing talks at universities and colleges and coming game development, up and coming game development students? So I do that. I get invited quite often to talk. I don't do it in person, but I've done some in-person talks at UCSC. I used to do this all the time. And then John and Brenda stopped working there, and I'm not really close to any of the current teachers there, or professors, or whatever they are. But I do get invited to talk. I just did a Berkeley one, and I've done multiple USC's talks. And I try to put them all online, too, so people can just see them. And I have one that still hasn't gone up yet because the audio is a little bit funky, and I was thinking about doing some dubbing, or not dubbing, but subtitles for the questions that I get asked because they kind of got lost in the audio. How much will the game cost? Over $20. I'm not sure how much over $20 yet. We won't know until the time comes. This is actually the most money I've ever put into a project. By far the biggest investment that I've ever done. By far. It also has the largest number of people working on it for a very long amount of time. I mean, it'd be about 4 years by release, which is almost the longest I've ever been in development with a game. I think Bumbo was in development for 4.5 years. So it'll be my biggest project. So it'll definitely be over $20. Would you get something for completing your run with colorless abilities like an item? You can leave your cats colorless and have no class. You'll have to experiment with that when you play it, but yes, there will be rewards for doing more difficult things. There's going to be a lot going on here, and a lot of it will kind of play like Isaac, where there'll be challenges, but there'll also just be goals of finishing certain runs, doing different paths, maybe experimenting with different class setups and stuff like that. And those will reward with a lot of item unlocks. There's so many items in the game, and a lot of them will be locked. Maybe a handful of abilities and stuff like that. In the breeding process, do you find anything that would be too broken with just 2 classes or tank fighter, etc.? It will be. You will potentially have broken situations, not broken to the point of being infinite, but just being pretty overpowered. And that's fine because you can. So the probabilities basically go like if you have a male and female cat and they have both been maxed out. So they're fully leveled up. They've got 3 active abilities, 2 passive abilities. Or they might even have 4 in total. So that's 6 different abilities, right? And they both share them. When a cat is born, it's going to choose one of those abilities at random, and you have no control over that. So if it gets the passive that you want, that combos really well with another class, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy to breed a bunch of cats that have that ability in order for it to combo. And you won't even know if you're going to be able to draft that combo, because let's say you have a fighter that has a specific ability that would be really OP with a tank. So you class that cat as a tank. You've got to cross your fingers and hope that that cat will actually draft into one of those busted combos. And each class has tons and tons and tons of different abilities. So the probabilities, it isn't that great, but it's still there. And when it happens, you definitely, you deserve a lucky run. It's kind of like Isaac. Will there be punishment for inbreeding? Yes. And that's another thing. So when you're breeding your cats, you bring them back home and they're all busted and they've got some crazy setups. And you're like, okay, I want to start breeding my stuff. You have to also be careful not to breed relatives, because inbreeding will cause defects. You'll have mutations, birth defects. And those birth defects can be pretty severe with inbreeding. And it would basically make your cats super gimped up. And they wouldn't be, I mean, I'll talk about this more in the next update. We try our best to make every disorder have an upside. There's always going to be some small silver lining to every bad thing that could happen to the cat. So like maybe if the cat's born with some sort of facial issue, it would lower the cat's charisma, but it may also have a 10% chance of that cat scaring anything that hits it, stuff like that. So there is a possibility that you could kind of draft around that. It wouldn't be too bad if you could have a cat with a facial disfigurement that lowered his charisma, so he's not going to start with a lot of mana, but every time he's hit, there's a 10% chance of causing fear in whatever hits it. So you could make a tank that has a facial issue. He doesn't care that much about having lower charisma, and you could hopefully get one that has really high luck, so it would also raise the chance of that 10% by, maybe another 10%. Now you've got a cat that whenever it's hit has a 20% chance of causing fear. And that's a fucking huge thing, especially if you have a cat that has stuff that wants him to get hit. So there's always a draft around. There's always something you could possibly do with every negative thing that happens in the game for the most part, which is why I think it's extra cool. But if you keep inbreeding, your stats will get low. And you don't want that, especially late game. Unless it's something really weird and specific and niche that you're trying to do. And there are some abilities that are tied to low stats. So you could you could basically breed a bunch of pinhead cats that have 0 intelligence. You'll never be able to cast a spell outside of charisma. But there are some archetypes that want you to have very low intelligence. So it's all good. But man, those inbred cats, they look funky. All right, questions. There are some broken. We're trying our best to fix the infinite synergies. For the most part, we have a pretty good lock on things going infinite, and a lot of fail safes that kind of stop those things from going infinite. That's all we kind of really care about. Like, you can have really busted combos that just do tremendous amount of damage, or almost make your cats completely immune to death. That's whatever. That's fine. But the problematic ones are the infinite ones. The ones where if you cast this, gain this much mana, then recast this to gain more mana, and you can chain infinitely. Once that sort of stuff happens, we don't want that to happen. But we do want stuff to chain almost infinitely. Certain things are okay if you work for it. When am I going to do the 13th box reveal? Let me see. I think I'm supposed to be doing it next Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure which day yet, but I'll let you guys know. I'm going to reveal the 13th box along with every other box that we've put out. Does each cat have a different sex style? Yeah, currently we just have that one animation, the hump. In the end, there will be lots of different... Don't worry, guys. Loads of other cat sex positions. I'm assuming a lot lazier. I mean, I'm even considering too, like, so there's some stuff in this game that may be a little too risque for Twitch and certain streamers, and I do want people to play it. So the option to kind of censor some of this stuff would kind of put in some alternate visuals that aren't as graphic. But there's also some songs there's some songs in the game that have a lot of double entendre that may not be what people want to stream. So I think giving people the option to just say, please don't play a song called Black Pussy while I'm streaming, then I think that's okay. I'm okay with that. IBS cat? Yeah, no, IBS is definitely a disorder that you can get. Usually you get IBS from eating dead animals and stuff like that. It makes you poop. It makes you poop when you get hit. You take extra damage so you take a damage every time you poop, and every time you get hit, you poop. And there's a strategy to that, man. Poops are pretty good in the game. The secret card, there are three cards in the 13th box. There are alternate art cards. They're not new cards. And I will show them. Any options to custom design your cat patterns? No, there are no plans, because the cat patterns will matter. One day you may find a cat that has scales. Let's say you got a cat, you go on this adventure, and there's a barrel of toxic waste. And the cat has options to inspect the toxic waste, to eat the toxic waste, or to leave. And inspecting the toxic waste would rely on his intelligence to try to help identify this toxic waste. And eating the toxic waste, to survive that, you would need a constitution save. So it basically rolls behind the scenes based on those stats. And if you were to critically succeed on eating the toxic waste, there's a possibility that maybe your cat grows fish scales. And those fish scales would cover its body and make it so it could swim through the water without being bogged down. You'd want that. You'd want that cat texture, and you'd want to breed that. So no customized ones, but you will have some control over if certain genetic mutations like fish scales would stay in your bloodline, and you can keep them going for generations and generations. More on the brimstone flavor when they announce it. I don't want to go into detail on that yet. When the next expansion drops, will there be more Warp Zone cards? If so, are there any IPs queued up? Also, that Chris Chan card. If Chris is acquitted, I assume that we will print the card. Maybe if he's not, I'll still print the card. Maybe it'll just be like the rarest card that ever existed. You never know. But it's not something if I didn't do any Warp Zones or cameos, artist cameos, and I had just done the Chris card, I would have left the Chris card in. Because the only real reason that I had to pull out, because I didn't want this cascade effect, this domino effect of like, I'm leaving this card in, now, you know, this game, and this game, they don't want any association with it. And then once one person leaves, everyone will leave. Everyone will leave. Because they don't want to be the one that stayed because I kept this card in. So I cut it for that reason. I don't need that. I don't need that headache. But doing it myself is a whole different story. Who knows? And when it comes to doing more Warp Zones, I don't know if I'll do more Warp Zones. I could see myself doing a few Mugenics cards, maybe when we do a physical Mugenics release or something along those lines. But I don't know. Warp Zones may have been a unique thing for that Kickstarter. Maybe not. Are there any 3D games coming? Doom style game where you kill Binding of Isaac monsters would be really cool. I'm sure I will eventually dive into 3D first person in the future, but not for a while. And I don't know if it would have anything to do with the Binding of Isaac. Will big cats also be a part of Mugenics or just house cats? Currently there's, well, you'll have to play and see. But I will say, I can't, you'll have to see. You'll have to wait and see. What's the most useless stat in your opinion in most builds? Can you have a build with a useless stat? So the most useless stat in Mugenics is strength and dexterity, but it depends on who you're using. If you've got a fighter, your dexterity is not going to matter because for the most part, all the attacks you do are going to be melee and based on strength. If you have a ranger or anybody with ranged attacks like a hunter, strength is not going to matter at all. It's going to all be about dexterity because that's what matters for those attacks. Other than that, there is no low end for stats. Is this like a weird little fly keeps floating around me? I can't see it in real life, but I can see it on the camera. Every stat matters. Tyler and I both guess that there's going to be a luck. Like people will realize that luck and charisma matter a great deal, and that might be a thing. Luck matters a lot. Especially in the early game, luck affects everything in the game. It's not like Isaac, where it was supposed to affect everything and it doesn't. Cats with high luck will modify every probability chance of everything, including the amount of gold you find or items you get or the effectiveness of things and stuff like that. So luck is super important, but it doesn't seem good when you start out. Like when you're just starting out, it's like, why would I want luck when I could just have more strength and I could just one-shot everything? But the long game luck is really nice. All right. I've got 3 minutes. I'll do 3 more questions and then I'll get off of here and I'll talk to you guys again next week. Oh. Ugh. Will there be a hate mechanic? So some cats that don't like each other and others do. Yes. Yes. It's not in the game yet, but it is on the list. There are random happenings in the house. There's going to be a bunch of them. Right now, it's just breeding. Either the cats breed or they don't breed. Or they have a baby or they don't. But there will be rivalries. We don't know how that'll play out exactly yet. There'll be rivalries. There'll be cats that bond together. Cats that just attack another cat. Stuff like that. There's a lot of random house happenings that we will no doubt find a way to translate those into the adventure. How does healing work in the game? Good question. So, your cats heal based off of their constitution. So, once you finish a match, they will heal based on their constitution and other modifiers that happen. Like, for example, if it's a really, really, really hot day, they will struggle to regenerate after a match. There are some mechanics that will allow you to give turn-by-turn regeneration, now like natural regeneration and stuff like that. So whenever a cat ends their turn, they just heal one. There's some that go off at the end of round, but for the most part, you're either healing with your healer, your cleric, or there are some collarless abilities and tank abilities that allow self-heal. Every class like has a thing that they like to do. Tank is okay with self-heal. There is a mage ability that is a self-heal, but it's less. And then the most common healer is, of course, the cleric, who can heal other people really well and also heal himself. He's really good at cleansing as well, which doesn't exist in other cats. So there's like things that are okay and things that are big no-nos for each class that we don't cross the line on. But for the most part, you're healing based on your charisma at the end of the match, which can be pretty diminishing returns, which is how you like it. You can also use items that you acquire to heal, but I'll get more into items in a later update. Okay, 2 more. How many environments are we aiming for in Mugenics? I'm trying to do 3 zones, and currently each zone is about 5 environments. Will there be any End is Nigh or Binding of Isaac references in Mugenics? There will be tons. Mugenics is the game that I feel like connects the dots between the End is Nigh and the Binding of Isaac. And there's a shit ton of Isaac references. It's in the Isaac world, so you will see lots of things that are very Isaac-like, lots of different enemy kind of cameos, and lots of items and abilities that pay homage to Isaac. Can your house get destroyed in Mugenics if you don't pay your taxes? I don't think we'll ever go harsh enough to have your house destroyed, since that is the one constant in the game that can't change. Once you've upgraded your house and filled it full of cool stuff, I don't think that is ever really going to go away. Your cats can all die, that's for sure. You could get fucked over and run out of money and have to find new means of making that money. But we're not going to be destroying your house. Okay. On to celebrating my birthday by working. It'll be fun. I think Danielle says I have some birthday presents that she wants me to open too, so I'm going to do that. I will talk to you guys next week. I hope you had fun. I know I did. And I will talk to you guys later.